Have you ever thought about why some parts of the United States are still untouched and empty? Join us as we try to figure out what's going on in America's dead zones, which are huge areas of rough mountains, empty deserts, and faraway tundras that can't be settled in the usual way. The United States of America is a massive nation that encompasses more than 3.8 million square miles and is home to some of the countries with the most varied climates and scenery in the entire planet. Although the majority of these places are inhabited, there are certain locations that are either much less populous or altogether devoid of any inhabitants. These locations, which are frequently referred to as dead zones, comprise a wide range of difficult settings, ranging from parched deserts and rocky mountain ranges to distant tundras and deep forests. In this video, the environmental, historical, and socio-economic elements that lead to the categorization of certain locations as dead zones are investigated in depth. The study also investigates the causes behind the sparse populations that are found in these areas. Deserts that are utterly desolate. One of the most well-known and hostile dead zones in the United States is the Mojave Desert, which is located in sections of the states of California, Nevada, Utah, and Arizona. The Mojave Desert. The Mojave Desert is characterized by harsh conditions that make it difficult for humans to live there. During the summer, temperatures can reach above 120 degrees Fahrenheit, and during the night, they can drop below freezing. There is also a significant problem with the scarcity of water there. Without major technological intervention, agriculture and conventional living conditions are practically difficult to achieve in a location that receives less than 5 inches of rainfall on a yearly basis. The Sonoran Desert is a desert, similar to the Sonoran Desert, which encompasses a significant portion of Arizona and extends into California and Mexico. The Sonoran Desert is characterized by extremely high temperatures and dry conditions. There are extensive swaths of the Sonoran Desert that are still entirely unoccupied, despite the fact that certain regions of the desert, such as the areas surrounding Phoenix, have experienced major urban growth. The harsh temperature of the desert, in conjunction with its steep terrain, inhibits the possibility of large-scale human habitation throughout the desert. The tundras that are far away. Within the Arctic Circle, Alaska is home to some of the most inaccessible and sparsely populated places in the United States. This is especially true in the Arctic Circle. Due to the extremely low temperatures on the tundra, which may dip as low as -50 degrees Fahrenheit during the winter, it is practically impossible to survive without the assistance of modern technology. Although the summer season is relatively brief, it does not do much to alleviate the severity of the weather, providing only a momentary reprieve with temperatures rarely rising above freezing. Problems caused by the infrastructure. Those who choose to make their homes in these distant places face additional challenges due to the absence of infrastructure. Roads are scarce and difficult to come by, and during the lengthy winter months, snow and ice frequently transform them into impassable surfaces. As a result of the unreasonably high costs associated with constructing and maintaining infrastructure in such a harsh environment, development and habitation are discouraged. The mountain ranges that are insurmountable. Rocky Mountains are located from Canada to New Mexico and comprise some of the most severe terrain in North America. They range from Canada to New Mexico. It is not feasible to establish a large-scale population due to the presence of high heights, steep hills, and unpredictable weather. Despite the fact the Rockies are home to a number of well-known tourist destinations and small communities, there are still enormous areas that are unexplored due to the fact that they are difficult to get and the difficulties that are posed by the environment. In the Sierra Nevada mountains. In a similar vein, the Sierra Nevada range, which is located in both California and Nevada, poses significant challenges to human existence. Despite the fact that it contains well-known national parks such as Yosemite and well-known ski resorts, a significant portion of the territory is still relatively unpopulated. Living there throughout the year is difficult due to the steep, rocky terrain and the considerable snowfall that occurs during the winter. There are the isolated forests. One of the largest protected areas in the contiguous United States is located in the Adirondack Mountains, which are located in the state of New York's upstate region. Even though it is located in close proximity to major urban centers, the region is still mainly undeveloped and has a low population density. The development and occupancy of the area are restricted by stringent environmental rules that are aimed to maintain the natural beauty of the area. Another factor that discourages large-scale settlement is the presence of extensive forests and rough terrain. A region in the Pacific Northwest. Significant dead zones can also be found in the deep woods of the Pacific Northwest, which include areas of the states of Washington, Oregon, and Northern California. Although the coastal regions are densely populated, the inland forests are more difficult to access and are frequently designated as wilderness zones that are protected from human invasion. The high rainfall and dense vegetation make it difficult and expensive to construct infrastructure, which in turn restricts the amount of opportunities for human habitation. Components of history and socioeconomic conditions. There are a number of dead zones in the United States that have historically been characterized by particularly low population densities. While the westward expansion was taking place, it was common for settlers to avoid places that were considered to be too difficult to cultivate or otherwise inhabit. After the passage of the Homestead Act in 1862, which encouraged the settlement of the Western Territories, a great number of pioneers left the more difficult regions in search of more friendly conditions and land that was suitable for agriculture. Economic factors to take into account. A further important consideration is whether or not it is feasible to establish a community in a dead zone. Deserts, tundras, and difficult mountain ranges are examples of regions that offer fewer prospects for economic development in comparison to locations that are more fertile and easily accessible. Because of the frequent requirement for specialized infrastructure and services, the cost of living in such hostile locations is typically higher than in other regions. These regions are consequently less appealing to both persons and enterprises as a consequence of this. The importance of safety measures for the environment. The United States of America has declared a significant number of dead zones as protected areas in order to preserve the distinctive ecosystems and natural beauty of these locations. For the purpose of preserving ecological harmony and safeguarding biodiversity, national parks, wilderness regions, and other protected territories impose restrictions on human occupancy and development. These efforts to save the environment are extremely important because they help to ensure that these places are not occupied and that they continue to be untouched for future generations. Regulations regarding the environment. Additionally, the absence of occupancy in these locations is a result of the stringent environmental rules that are in place. For the sake of conserving endangered species, water quality, and air quality, laws have been enacted to restrict the growth of residential and industrial areas. Although these restrictions are necessary for the protection of the environment, they also create obstacles that prevent people from settling in the area and using it economically. The appeal of dead zones and the obstacles they present. The dead zones, despite the difficulties they provide, have a particular fascination for people who are interested in conservation, science, and adventure. In addition to providing chances for scientific research and outdoor leisure, these regions feature untouched landscapes and ecosystems that are one of a kind. As a result of their lack of human development and seclusion, these places are able to maintain their natural beauty and biodiversity, which makes them important in their undeveloped state. Prospects for the future. As we look to the future, it is possible that the status of these dead zones will shift as a result of developments in technology and the emergence of new economic prospects. New economic incentives for development could be provided by the establishment of renewable energy projects in deserts and rural places. These projects could include solar and wind farms among other renewable energy projects. Nevertheless, in order to guarantee the preservation of these one-of-a-kind landscapes, any such projects will have to strike a balance between the economic rewards and the protection of the environment. The dead zones of the United States, which are distinguished by their harsh environs and low population densities, serve to showcase the varied and frequently difficult nature of the country's topography. The sweltering deserts of the Southwest and the icy tundras of Alaska are only two examples of the considerable challenges that these locations present to human life. A number of variables, including historical, economic, and environmental considerations, contribute to the fact that these regions continue to have low population densities. It is possible that these areas will continue to be completely unoccupied, yet they are of tremendous value due to the natural beauty, biodiversity, and potential for scientific inquiry that they possess. The continuous efforts that are being made to maintain and preserve these dead zones guarantee that they will continue to play an important role in the ecological and cultural landscape of the United States. The ability to strike a balance between development and conservation will continue to be essential in defining the future of these interesting, yet frequently ignored regions, even as technological advancements and economic situations continue to shift. Enjoyed exploring America's dead zones? Subscribe to our channel for more captivating insights into geography, nature, and exploration. Hit subscribe now to join us on our journey through the hidden corners of the world.